Here's your weather video for this Sunday. It's November the 12th by meteorologist Bill Murray. And we've had a very dreary and gray Saturday. It's behind us now. A little bit of sunshine on Sunday, not much. As we go into the next part of the week here, we're going to see some fairly good rain chances across Alabama. And let's get into that and see how much rain we can expect. This upper pattern across North America, surprisingly showing ridging across almost the entire country. We got a storm system moving into the Pacific Northwest. That has caused some heavy rains over parts of the northern Cascades and northern Washington. Overnight on Saturday night, 4 to 9 inches of snow above 4,500 feet. In some of those areas, prompting some winter storm warnings. See a disturbance there off Baja. That's going to become our next weather maker as it moves over to the Gulf of Mexico. Nothing tropical, but it will produce a low-pressure system that will bring rainfall to much of the Gulf Coast. Going through time, you see that system in Baja weakening, but spinning up a surface low there along the Texas coast. As we go into midweek, that surface low moves across the northern Gulf of Mexico, throwing moisture up into parts of the deep south, including southeastern Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and some of those rainfall amounts could be fairly heavy over the southern parts of those states. The WPC even beginning to hint that there might be some excessive rainfall in those areas, and that would just be welcome news. A little bit more uncertain how much rain we may see further to the north. Now, the system moves out of the northern Rockies there by the end of the week. That moving into the Great Lakes triggers a weak cold front not really a weak cold front. It'll actually be fairly sharp, but it won't have any moisture to work with, so it's just not going to produce much in the way of rain. It moves through here on Friday, a few clouds, maybe an isolated shower over northeast Alabama, as we'll see. We'll watch for the development of a tropical system, potentially by midweek. Moving across Jamaica into the eastern Cuba area, maybe Hispaniola. We'll see that in just a moment. Another stronger system by late in the weekend moves into North Texas and Oklahoma. That is reinforced and a very strong upper low there early in the week 2 period. And then some more interesting weather mischief potentially coming with this system there around Friday the 24th. Now, that'll be weakening as it moves into Alabama, but folks in Texas might have a little surprise waiting on them. We'll see how that goes. Temperatures off the national blend of models today across Alabama and the southeast. Generally, the warmer temperatures are going to be, of course, over South Alabama, but also over the Tennessee Valley. Areas of east central Alabama under the influence of this easterly wedge. This is produced by the anticyclonic or clockwise flow around high pressure centered over the Appalachians. This forces cooler, moist air down the east side of the Appalachians, and it winds up there in Alabama. That means these central portions of the state may see temperatures holding in the upper 50s today. So that's a really beautiful depiction of what the easterly wedge looks like. This is the GFS. I'm going to use the 18Z model as my choice. This is starting off, I'm going to back it up to 12Z today, showing the last few showers moving out of Alabama. I think the whole state is dry today. You saw what those temperatures are going to look like. But you see the moisture there across Mexico, southern Texas, into the western Gulf, and the beginning of a low-pressure system spinning up there near Brownsville by Monday morning. That system is going to begin to move eastward along the Gulf Coast, and as it does, it will spread heavy rain into southeast Texas and over much of the state of Louisiana into Mississippi. It arrives into Alabama late Monday night, early Tuesday. We're probably dry for most of the day on Monday. High temperatures in the 60s. It'll feel quite nice. But rain should spread into the state during the late night hours, overspread the southern half of the area on Tuesday, perhaps reaching as far north as the I-20 corridor, with rain continuing there into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, and into Wednesday morning. Now, the rain should begin to sort of weaken a bit as we get into later Wednesday and Thursday. It'll move out. Most of the showers are gone by Thursday with some clearing skies. Still fairly mild temperatures, no regime change in terms of air temperatures. There we see our potential tropical system there crossing into the ocean there between Cuba and Haiti, going over Jamaica. So they could have some tropical storm force conditions there. The hurricane season will probably be about to be finished after that system crosses through the southeastern Bahamas and exits out into the Atlantic. Friday, we're dry. Cold front's approaching us. It just doesn't have any moisture to work with. And so maybe only an isolated shower or two over the Tennessee Valley, northeast Alabama, the biggest story. A little reinforcing shot of cooler air. We'll notice that on Saturday with a brisk northwesterly wind. And those same conditions are going to continue into the weekend with highs generally upper 50s to lower 60s. Overnight lows will be in the 40s. Going into the week 2 period here. Now, dry for that Sunday. Monday, we stay dry. But here comes that next disturbance across Texas, bringing rain again to Arkansas and Louisiana, moving across Mississippi. We get another shot of rain there that late Monday afternoon, the 20th, into Tuesday, the 21st. Secondary system comes along, passes to the north of us, bringing the heavier rainfall amounts to the Ohio Valley. But rain showers remain in our forecast for Tuesday and Wednesday. Things turn sharply colder as that big full latitude trough begins to develop, delivering that cold air into Alabama. We may not get out of the 30s on that Wednesday. Now, I'm dealing very heavily in voodoo territory here, way out in week 2, so lots of things can change, but that's a very plausible forecast solution going into the busiest travel day of the year. Wednesday, Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving Day. Fairly tranquil weather for Alabama. Quite chilly, highs in the 40s. Overnight lows probably in the upper 20s and low 30s. Now look at that system developing over the Rockies there, just in time for Black Friday, spreading snows, if the GFS is right, across parts of New Mexico, the northern part of Texas, into western Oklahoma, with some mixed precipitation there moving into the Texas hill country. Perhaps some heavier snow over North Texas there on Friday the 24th. What a rude awakening that would be for Black Friday. The system weakens as it moves to the east. By the time it gets here to Alabama, it shouldn't be able to muster anything but a few clouds, maybe some snow showers in the Rockies if all this is true, with clearing skies and nice weather in time for the Iron Bowl on Saturday the 25th. Out at the end of the period, everybody's heading home. Should be fairly nice weather across much of the country on Sunday the 26th. Storm system moving into the Pacific Northwest. Everything else across the United States is fairly dry and fairly cool for this time of year. Now, this is the GFS's depiction of the snowfall. I just point that out because there's your generally 2 to 3 inches across North Texas. That would be very interesting. Some heavy snows for western Colorado, parts of northwestern Wyoming, and look at those snows there over northern Idaho into western Montana. Some of those amounts probably approaching, somewhere 18 to 20 inches. Same thing, the western parts of Washington up into British Columbia. So that will be very interesting to watch. These are QPF amounts off the GFS, not quite as bullish as the WPC is. The model showing lesser amounts. North Alabama lucky to get 1/10 of an inch. North Central Alabama probably 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch around. South Central Alabama with some 1 to 3 inches amounts, 3-inch amounts over South Alabama. But the WPC, the experts there think it'll be a little more than that. This is Monday the 13th, tomorrow, showing the development of a low-pressure system in the western Caribbean. It tracks to the west, but as it gets itself organized there somewhere south in the Caribbean Gyre, it begins to form a potential tropical depression south of Jamaica by Thursday night, potentially becoming a tropical storm and moving up and across Hispaniola and into the Bahamas and then off to the northeast. This is just not a very good look on this run, which is actually the 0Z run. So not quite as bullish on the GFS. Will we still get vents? It's possible, but I think this might be the end to hurricane season, folks, after we get that. These are temperatures off the GFS because I want to look out as far as Thanksgiving. And if the GFS is right and that full latitude trough develops, we might have a hard time getting out of the 30s over parts of North Alabama on Wednesday the 22nd, but at least we would be dry. The outlook for Thanksgiving Day, 46 for the high, 30 for the low at Birmingham. But then a nice little warming trend sets in. Cool, game time temperature around 60 degrees for the Iron Bowl after we start off around 40 that morning. But then a nice warm up by Sunday the 26th. Looking a little closer in, these temperatures off the National Blend of Models, 61 today, 67 on Monday. Quite nice. Rain and showers, hold temperatures back on Tuesday and Wednesday in the 50s, and then we're back in the 60s generally through the weekend into the first part of next week before that big cool down comes our way. Now, I want to tell you about something really special happening next Saturday, the 18th. All the weather podcasts getting together to raise money for the American Red Cross in our first ever Weather Pods Disaster Relief Telethon. Weatherbrains will be participating. Show starts at 9 a.m. Lots of places you can see it. We'll be talking about it all week. It'll be on our live stream at youtube.com/weatherbrains. Many other places. Please come and give, because all that money, every single penny of it, will go to the American Red Cross for disaster relief. We'll be talking about this a lot this week. We'll actually be talking to some of the other podcasters Monday night, tomorrow night, as we record Weatherbrains, the weekly netcast that's all about weather. Ashley Gann, an Alabama meteorologist, will join us tomorrow night to talk about her transition from broadcast meteorology into a position in higher education. So Ashley will join us after we talk to the weather podcasters tomorrow night. You'll find Weatherbrains wherever you consume your podcasts in a myriad of locations. Please join us for another interesting show. Well, that's your weather video for this 12th of November. I'll have notes on the blog, a complete update on the forecast, and a little look back at interesting weather history from this date in 1951, when a huge blizzard on the Wyoming and Utah border caused a terrible disaster when two streamliners from the Union Pacific Railroad crashed in that horrible snowstorm. But until I get to see you next Sunday, James will be back with two-a-days tomorrow. Scott will be here next Saturday. And then I will tell you, as I always do, keep an eye to the sky, because you'll always have something fun to look at.